Way before superhero movies were making billions of dollars worldwide, they were either seen as campy entertainment for kids or cheap tie-ins to already established brand names. But back in 1969, a former fashion photographer for Vogue magazine imagined a comic hero that rallied against American politics. And painted the US as an empire, hell-bent on spreading consumerism across the globe. Although William Klein created Mr. Freedom more than 40 years ago, it remains just as relevant today. (1969), such a tumultuous year in US history. Richard Nixon became president and asked America's silent majority to help him support the Vietnam War. The Stonewall riots in New York City lit a fuse for the gay rights movement. Apollo 11 landed on the moon, and the Black Panther Party had one of its leaders murdered in a raid by 14 Chicago police officers. It was an exciting and confusing time for a nation that was on the brink of huge cultural shifts. It also marked the birth of Mr. Freedom.
Hey, you want to see something? Cold War, Phase 2. Harass the population.
The character embodies everything wrong with the status quo of American politics at the time. He's a simplistic, chauvinist, racist meathead who has trouble thinking for himself. Imagine Captain America without a conscience, or a dumber version of the comedian. This mixed-up hero is equal parts cowboy and secret agent. Think James Bond, but played by John Wayne. He's portrayed by John Abbey, an actor who left the States to play American characters in French films and TV series. He looks like a prototypical alpha male and plays the part with precision. The way the film introduces the character in the first 5 minutes perfectly encapsulates our preconceptions about manhood in the States. He walks into a room filled with empty soda bottles and pornography on the wall, finishes a can of Colt 45, takes a bite of an overstuffed sandwich, and pulls back the American flag to find a closet full of weapons and sporting goods. He then suits up to attack a family in the ghetto.
Mr. Freedom's coming!
Don't nobody move! Nobody!
Afterwards, he holds them hostage, making everyone sing his theme song.
F-R-E-E-D! D-O-M spells!
What a jackass. He's later called back to Freedom headquarters by Dr. Freedom, played by Donald Pleasence. We never actually see the Doc in person. He only appears on video monitors and Mr. Freedom's high-tech Dick Tracy watch. Dr. Freedom gives our right-wing hero his orders to go to France, to fight the incursion of communism, and to teach their people about the virtues of democracy.
Your mission is search and destroy, insurgency and counterinsurgency, revolutionary pacification. Take our story to the people.
It's in Paris that he comes face to face with his greatest enemies, his rival Moujik Man, a giant inflatable balloon creature named Red China Man, and Jesus.
Anyway, goddammit, I didn't come here to be insulted. I'm the victim of aggression. You're the aggressor, the true enemy of the people.
Will Mr. Freedom and his band of merry freedom fighters prevail over evil, or will their campaign for justice lead to the total destruction of France?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
It's obvious from the film's absurd tone and satirical characters that director William Klein had a deep disdain for the policies of his home country at the time. He worried that big business had too many close ties to our policymakers, as evidenced by the Freedom headquarters that just happens to share space with large corporate conglomerates. Then there's the way he uses the US Embassy in France as a metaphor for the way corporations try to spread consumerism to other cultures across the globe.
The French have a certain culture, a folklore if you prefer. They have their language, they're industrializing themselves, and, well, they could be a great people, but they understand very little about democracy.
And of course, Mr. Freedom's political speeches seem to go on forever without ever actually saying anything at all. I love how he attempts to over-dramatize his blue-collar past with a list of improbable jobs.
I've been working since I was 7 years old. There's nothing I didn't do. I washed clothes, I shined shoes, I picked cotton. I was a boxer, a dishwasher, a striker, and a strike breaker, yeah. I worked on the railroad, sang the blues, I played the piano. I was an engineer, an efficiency expert, a male nurse, and informer. I was everything, yeah. You're right. It's rough and it's tough where I come from. But if you got what it takes, we'll take what you got, and then some.
Amazing how so little has changed with our political leaders since 1969. If you plan to watch this for some big-time superhero action, I'd urge you to look elsewhere. This satire wants to focus more on metaphor and absurd humor than superpowered battles. Not to say this film doesn't have its fair share of fighting, but most of it is done with the grace and athleticism of an R-rated Burt Ward, Burgess Meredith smackdown.
Where's my combat mask?
Director William Klein has a keen eye for detail, composing bold shots with the skill of a master photographer. He uses primary colors to make each goofy character stand out, no matter if they're the main hero or a team of government-funded go-go dancers. His slick artistic visual style, teamed with kitschy costumes and props, give each scene a unique flavor, unlike almost any other superhero movie ever.
Super Frenchman, I give you just 48 hours! Mujik Man, you are next!
While the film does begin to run out of important things to say by the end, the points it does make leave an indelible mark that remains just as pertinent today. I wonder what a remake would look like now. Sure, the special effects would be computer-generated, the costumes would probably closer resemble the Avengers, and the Vietnam references could be swapped out for Iraq or Afghanistan, but most of the content would probably remain the same. But those are just my thoughts on Mr. Freedom. I'd love to hear yours. You can hit me up on Twitter, John_Airy, or leave me a comment. I'm John, at the movies.
Never before on the face of the earth. It's not for next year. It's not for tomorrow. It's for right now. It's for one and for all and all for one. Yeah, step right up. It's free and it's freedom. And there is only one freedom, and it's your freedom and it's mine. And freedom is freedom!